Intellectuals too. Intellectuals too. With James Kirkland.
Powerful and provocative. Prophetic and practical.
Have you ever found yourself?
Are you dating for that purpose?
Informative and
I feel
inspirational.
every bit of it. Like, I'm not trying to waste my
How you gonna do better if you don't know what better looks like? I do.
Intellectuals too.
Come on, let's talk about it with me, the mind massager.
Intellectuals too. With James Kirkland. Intellectuals too. Intellectuals too. Intellectuals too. With James Kirkland. Intellectuals too. Intellectuals too. Intellectuals too. With James Kirkland.
Let me try to get these things together. Y'all do me a favor. When you come in, share the video. Let people know.
Intellectuals too.
Yeah, share it. I'm trying to share it right now. Let people know that we're on. Because I'm going to need your help. It's open mic night.
Intellectuals too. Intellectuals too.
Get ready to start in just a moment. Where am I supposed to be showing my group? In a group.
Intellectuals too. Intellectuals too. With James Kirkland. Intellectuals too.
Nope.
Intellectuals too. Intellectuals too.
All right. I was trying to share this, get this shared with a few people so we can get this conversation started. Yeah, come on in. Y'all come on in, say hello, say what's up. Yeah, come in. Let me turn this music down.
Intellectuals too.
I love my music though. Bring it on down. Yeah, everybody come on in, say hello. Let me know where you're listening from. Let's get this conversation started tonight. It is open mic night. So if you all, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the phone number up. Lakeisha, if you're there, go ahead and put the, oh, you put it up already. Okay. Phone number's up. So, if you would drop the link in the chat down there at the bottom, you should be see where it says invite. Drop that link in the chat and whatever they want to talk about tonight. Now we'll start off a little bit and do a little with the love languages, and I got a couple of videos that we're gonna look at and all that kind of stuff. Hey Morton, how you doing? Chastity, you got your ticket, right? You got your ticket. So we're gonna see you on May the 4th at 6 o'clock because you got a VIP ticket. So you come at 6 o'clock. What's up, Valdosta, Georgia, Subwoofer King? What's going on, man? You went viral anymore on any of those videos? All right, cool. Yeah, come on in at 6 o'clock, 6 to 6:45. VIP reception is going to be going on. Get your libations, get your little food, and then we'll get ready for the show to start. Man, we got some things going on. We got entertainment now. We have a poet. We got conversations that are going to take place, and I am super, super, super excited about it. Now, I have been on this kick here recently, trying to help us as people, as individuals, as males and females, start the process of bonding as opposed to battling. I'm so sick of it. I mean, it seems like anytime you put up a subject regarding a black man or a black woman, somebody immediately chooses a side. And I think that's part of the problem, because a house divided against itself, I don't care how you look at it, a house divided against itself is going to fail every time. It's going to fall. So what's up, Phoenicia? So we got to figure out how to build this bond. Why, there used to be a saying that, me and my brothers or me and my sisters might fight, but if we fight, we keep it in house. We never go public with that fight, right? You could talk about my brother. I could talk about my brother. We can joan all day long, but anybody on the outside, nah, we're gonna protect the inside. But we stopped protecting each other, and for somewhere along the way, we became enemies. I like to use the biblical scripture in 1 Samuel 30 of what happened when David and the men went off to fight. When they went off to fight, the Amalekites came in and burned the city and took the women and children. What's up, Jesse? Took the women and children away captive. And I believe the women and children and the men are still divided. But what you fail to realize is that in that scripture, when the men came back and saw that the women and children were gone, they almost lost their minds. They started to complain and started to, lament. That means cry. They went through a major shift mentally because their women and children were gone. And I believe that men and women are still far apart. And when men came back, women weren't where they used to be. They have degrees now. You have women, you have degrees. You're business owners now. You make your own money, all those types of things. So I think that when the men came back, the women were gone. Now, Lakeisha just put the link in the chat. Lakeisha, that link only goes to YouTube. I'm gonna have to drop this other one in there on Facebook. But I think I'm real talk. I think when the men came back, and the funny part about it is what we failed to realize is that the men just weren't just gone haphazardly. They weren't just wandering. They weren't in the nightclub kicking it or nothing like that. The men were out fighting. And when they came back, the enemy had taken their women and taken their children. And I think they're gone. And so with this process, what I'm trying to figure out is, how do we put ourselves in a position where we can bond the sexes as opposed to battling? Because if we really realize, I just put the actual link in the chat for those that are on Facebook. If we realize that there's a disconnect, if we realize that there has been a systemic plan to divide us, because they realize that there's so much strength for them in our division, and they don't realize that they know we don't realize how much strength there is in our unity. Once we unify and once we come together, man, we're one of the most powerful forces on the face of the planet, man. I don't know if y'all watched it. The show is kind of horrible, really, to be honest with you. That new show that Steph Curry produced about Good Times on Netflix. I mean, you have to really dig deep to find some principles. But in the show, there was one particular episode where, who was it? Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, and one more cat. I forgot who it was, but one of the richest men in the world. And they were trying to steal black people's DNA because of our resilience to stand through so many things. And they know that. They know how strong we are. And they know that if they could just keep us fighting and keep us divided and get us to the point where I don't need no man, I don't need no woman, because the black family is the strongest force on the face of the planet. But we haven't figured that out yet. They do. They knew. That's why in Willie Lynch's letter, he said how to break a slave. start out with the black woman. Get her because she's the one who's raising the children. If you do it right, you'll reverse the nature. I mean, I'm not. This isn't anything I'm making up. You can. This is documented. You can Google it and read through it, and you'll see a plan that was put in place. I mean, years ago, to divide us and to keep us divided. And the thing is, you plant a tree in year 1. But sometimes you might not see the evidence until year 5, year 10. And so what we're seeing 200-300 years later is as a result of systemic seeds that were planted years ago. But there's a way to fix it. There's a way we can start trending back in the right direction. The way we do that is we start to change our minds. We start changing the way we think. Well, first of all, we just recognize that there is a plan. I mean, let me ask you a question, because none of y'all talking back to me. Talk back. Come on, let's say hello. I need a talk back church a little bit tonight. That's what we call a talk back church. But would you agree that there is a problem that exists between men and women? Yes or no? Do you agree that there is a problem that exists? And scientists, or not just scientists, but therapists, let me use that word, therapists, mental health professionals, they say that one of the biggest issues that exist is the fact that men and women have a problem communicating. That's the issue. We have a problem communicating because most times we operate from a platform of pain. Oh yeah, in case y'all calling, let me hurry up and put the phone number up. I'm tripping. My bad. Because some of y'all might be calling, I might not even be paying attention. But no, real talk, the phone is on. And if you want to talk, I mean, this is open mic night. So I'm just rambling right now. So if it's something that you all want to say, something you want to discuss, something you want to bring to the table, a testimony, whatever you want to do, feel free to call in or hit that link in the chat, like I said. And when you hit that link in the chat, then we'll bring you on. If you want to be seen, you can come on the video portion. If you just want to be heard, that's the phone number, 404-860-2775. So Phoenicia, you said you agree. 65% of mental health professionals validate. They said that's why marriages fail. 65% of them said marriages fail because we have not figured out how to communicate. So what I proposed last week, starting on last Monday, I think it was, is that we learn our potential love interest, learn their love language, because Dr. Gary Chapman came up with this theory that we as human beings, as relational beings, as interpersonal beings, we have what you call love tanks. All of us. Use your imagination and just think about it. We all have love tanks, and we operate optimally when our love tanks are full. Kind of like a car. A car gets better gas mileage if you keep gas in it. The more gas you keep in there. If you start running around on, putting $3, well, you can't do $3 in a tank no more. We used to do that when we were young. When I'm in the 90s, we could all give $1 a piece and ride all weekend. Gas went 69 cents a gallon. But now gas is higher. So, but still, in order to get the best gas mileage, you put gas in the tank. Car performs better. Likewise, if our love tanks are full, we perform better. We feel fulfilled. We're happier now because now we have, hey, Conjure, how are you doing? Our love tanks are full. It makes a difference. So the way you love somebody or you feel somebody's love tank is how? By loving them on their love language. So what we did in the last couple of weeks over here on the side, what we did the last few weeks is we started talking about the different love language. One love language we talked about, of course, was words of affirmation. That's someone who needs to hear compliments. That's one whose love is affirmed through words, through the things you've said. Now, I had a conversation with a friend of mine Saturday morning, and we were talking. We started talking about this whole words of affirmation thing, and I told her, I said, I know that my love language is words of affirmation. I know it is. I said, but my trouble comes when the same mouth you use to shower me with love is the same one you use to criticize me, or the same one you call yourself checking me with or fussing at me with. And me personally, I can't compute. And there's a part of me, and don't call me weak, call me whatever you want to call me. I don't care. I know who I am. Part of me shuts down when I feel like because words of affirmation. So those same words that affirm me, if they become adversarial, then I become absent. I check out, and I check out fast, right? And I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't understand why. Maybe Phoenicia, maybe you can explain what that is. But real talk, I mean, that's my love language. My love language. So if you're telling me that you love me, you're telling me that you're proud of me, you're telling me that all these things. I love the cologne you wear, and then all of a sudden now we fussing. And I'm like, over that? Because all arguments are amplified to me. I'm sorry. That's why I don't argue. I was married for 20 years. We probably raised our voice at each other 2 or 3 times in those 20 years. I don't respond well to yelling at me, till you raise your voice at me. I don't. I shut down. I don't. Because I don't want to I don't want to get mad. Because I don't know what I do when I get mad. So I want to keep myself, I can control my emotions. And I control my emotions enough not to yell at you. Oh, so that's a defense mechanism. Okay, I mean, and who am I defending myself from? Because I could be defending myself from you. You know what I'm saying? Could be defending myself from the potential of what I would, because I know how I am, and words are like a weapon for me. I remember saying something a long time ago. I said, because a person like me, for instance, I mean, for most of my career, I sold cars, right? And so I have to be skilled at communication. I have to, no, don't yell at me either. I have to be able to use negotiation, inflections and tones. I can't talk to everyone the same way. When I'm selling, I got to match my style according to the person that I'm selling to, but I'm trying to produce a response, and this is how I make my living in my mouth, and I'm pretty good at that, right? So I don't want to use this as a weapon against somebody that I call so-called love, or somebody that I so-called I'm considering being in a relationship with. So if that's the case, then I don't want to put myself in a position where we're going back and forth. I'm just not going to do it. So when you think about that, if you're dealing with somebody, and I encourage all of you, if you have not done so, go to my page or Google love language test and take the test. They have free versions out there, and find out what your love language is, and do it with your partner. And once you find out what their love language is, then make a concerted effort to try to love them on their love language. And let me ask you this question. If someone told you that there was, and I'm just going to throw a hypothetical percentage out there, but if someone told you that your relationship had a 95% chance of being successful and more peaceful if you made an effort to really love your potential love interest on their love language, not do what you want to do for them. That's cool. I know sometimes you're good. You can cook real good, so I'm gonna be a cook, and I'm gonna do this acts of service. I'm gonna do that, but that ain't his love language, or that ain't her love language. All right, I mean, if somebody told you that you had a 95% chance of having a successful love relationship, you are gonna keep her or his love tank full, right? Because if my love tank is full, then 9 times out of 10, I'm probably gonna fill your love tank too. And here we are, both satisfied, right? Hold on, let me see what Kawana said. It's called removing your. Okay, Let me. She said it's called removing yourself from blacking out. I sometimes walk away because I go dark. Absolutely. And the thing that triggers me, I know what triggers me. Words. You know, I know people say sticks and stones that may break your bones, but may break my bones, but words will never hurt. That's a lie. That's a lie from hell. That's a real good lie right there, for real. So that's not true. So we got to figure out how to love each other on our love languages, and that's something, in my opinion, that could bring us closer. That's something that we can bond around. Now, Kawana, your love language Kawana, do you know your love language? What is your love language? I'm trying to think if I could guess. No, I can't even guess. What's your love language, Kawana? Acts of service? I don't know. But when you know a person's love language, that's a good route to go. And because the thing is, this is the thing. Acts of kindness. Okay, cool. Acts of service. So I did guess right. So this is the thing. As I've stated in the last couple of weeks, there are so many issues that we are divided around. There are so many issues, right? And most of the things that we're divided around is understandable. Why? Because we're different. And I heard it was Dr. Jeremiah Wright during the election when President Obama was running. But one thing that Jeremiah Wright said was that different is not deficient. So that means, you know, women, y'all have breast. Well, some men have, but women have breasts, men with it. You know, I mean, we have different things about us, right? I mean, our gray matter versus white matter, our ability to look at things logically versus looking at things, you know, operating out of emotion. I mean, we have a whole lot of differences, right? And because we have differences, that's going to cause us to look through different lenses. Sometimes you're going to see something and see something totally different. Like right now, you're looking at the screen. Some of y'all are just looking at my mouth, looking at what I'm saying. Somebody's looking at the letters on my shirt. Somebody else is looking at the picture behind me. Somebody else is looking at the string. Because you can look at the same thing and see something totally different. So typically when men and women look at certain scenarios, we look at them different. I use the analogy for those who users, and this is a real life situation. On Thursday night, for those of you all that wasn't on with me Thursday night, we were talking and we were talking about, I think some of Victoria or Sunday, I forgot one of them. They brought up about the hard conversations. You know, sometimes women, you know, they just want the man to have the hard conversations. You know, they want to sit down, and if there's something they want to discuss, they want to sit down and have that hard conversation. Now, a man, and I had this conversation with a couple of my homeboys, you know, because I wanted to get their perspectives on this, because if we are not operating according to our natural habits, who we are, you know what I'm saying? I need to know that, because if it's correctable, I'll correct it. I promise I have no problem with that. So I asked a couple of homeboys how they respond in those situations, and we pretty much had the popular consensus. It was the same, and that is, if I don't have an answer in that moment, I can't give you what I don't have. I can't. So if you want to sit down, it's a mosquito in here. If you want to sit down and have a hard conversation, I feel you. It's on your mind. You probably pondered it. You've been sitting on that conversation for a minute. You want to talk about it. You want to get it off your chest. I get it. Do your thug fizzle. I get it. But when you come and dump it on me, whatever it is, now I got to figure out what to do with this information. And so sometimes, because here it is, in some instances, not to say that women don't, I'm just telling you what men do, because we think logically, we want to give you a logical response. It don't mean we're trying to conjure up a lie. It doesn't mean we're trying to fix our answer. Doesn't mean any of those things. That means you just gave me some information. Now I got to process this information. Does that make sense? And that's okay. But then you get frustrated because somebody's not responding in the time frame that you want them to respond. or they're not giving you the answer that you're looking for in that moment. And honestly, I'm sorry, but I can't give you what I don't have. And those that know me, if we have that quote unquote hard conversation and I don't have an answer, once I go and process it a little bit, once I get a chance to think about it a little bit, now I'll come back and we can revisit this conversation. There's an article that talks about how to fight fair, talking about couples, and it says that when you find yourself at a heated point, then take 5 minutes. Sometimes that 5 minutes might be 30 minutes. Sometimes that 30 minutes might be an hour. Sometimes that hour might be the next day. Whatever it is, you have to figure out how to foster effective communication, because how is communication effective when we're yelling back and forth at each other? Because typically yelling is as a result of pain. And pain typically makes somebody say, ouch. If I came and I stepped on your toe, most times you're gonna say, ouch. Sometimes you might cuss. Sometimes you might you're gonna respond some type of way. And that response typically is one that is predicated and is produced from that pain, right? So we got to figure out how to bond these sexes. Now, this is my problem. The problem for me comes when we, as influencers, as those who have these types of podcasts and all these types of things, my problem comes when we start promoting bad advice. Real talk. Let me read some comments. Conjure said, "Love me the same way you love me, the same way you got me. I got you. I hate when a person do certain things for you, then after 3 months you stop. You will get mad when I bring it up. You were living a total lie." Okay, I can see how you say it like that. Now I could probably offer another perspective. Like, can I make this challenge to Stu Nation, to you all who are listening to me? Anytime you're presented with a scenario, can you look at it more than one way? Potentially. And I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong, Conjure. You're 100% right. Be yourself from the beginning, like opening doors, and then none of that should stop. But when you meet somebody, like for instance, let me ask something, Conjure. I'm gonna ask you a question. And I'm being cynical, but bear with me for a moment. If you go and meet somebody, are you gonna have some rollers in your hair? I'm talking about the pink kind too, with a scarf over your head. I mean, are you gonna come to the door with your house coat on? Are you gonna have rollers? I mean, y'all remember them pink foam rollers with the big ones? I mean, you're gonna have rollers all around your head with a mask on and a house, one of them flowered house coats like from Walmart. You remember the kind back in the day? Are you going? Why not? Why not? I mean, because you want to let them meet your real you. Not the makeup, no weave, not with the red bottoms on. Now let them meet you in your raw. Because truth be told, we all dress up the representative. And all of us present our best. Right? And most times we don't maintain our best. We try. But I hear now you should not accept the bare minimum. And I'm being cynical when I say that. I really am. I'm being somewhat cynical in saying that. But everybody's going to present their best. I understand my point. I know you wouldn't do that. But everybody presents their best from the initial. Nobody comes in saying, I mean, Christ was walking around with a robe on, and then they said, show me. And then they said, Thomas said, except I see the nails and the prints, I won't believe. So he had to, kind of pull the sleeve up, because nobody really walks around advertising their wounds. Nobody advertises their deficiencies. You find that out. So true enough, somebody might, present their best in the beginning, and what they do in the beginning is what they should do to keep you. But in the process, I promise there's going to be some things that you're going to kind of level off at a point. Let me see what Subwoofer King said. He said people nowadays don't get the deeper picture of relationships. Social media has a lot of the new generation of couples messed up. The ratchetness in music and social media tearing up the Black queen. It is. It is, man. It is. You know what? I ran across this video. I got 13 y'all in the chat right now. And if y'all all would do me a favor and like this video, like or love it or something, show some type of reaction. If you would do that and share this video. If you just do that like real quick, just share it. And maybe we can get some more people involved in the conversation, because I want to get your opinion. And so y'all are so logical. I have people online that'll say something. What's up, Marcel Dean? That's my partner from way back in the day. All right, so I'm gonna put this video up because you know everything is money related now. Money related now. Everything is money. You know, if you ain't paying for the relationship, you know, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna let y'all listen to this video, and then I'm gonna give my scenario on it. Keisha, put the phone number back up after I play this video. And then I want somebody to call in, and I want y'all to, and I'm gonna put the link in the chat again, and we're gonna talk about it. But bruh, I ain't gonna lie, this one almost kind of pissed me off, real talk. And the reason it pissed me off is because the reason it pissed me off is because people listen to this bull stuff. And people with weaker minds would believe. Listen to this, and if y'all agree with it, please come on, let's talk about it. But here it is.
If he says he wants you, make him pay $50,000. And if he can't afford $50,000 up front, have a payment plan. If he says, hello, what's your name? $50,000. Hey, can you cook me some food? $50,000. Hey, I got problems going on. $50,000. You're not playing wife to no man that cannot show you that he has husband characteristics. He must be a provider. He must be a leader, and he must be able to sacrifice for you. Because what a man invests in, a man appreciates. If this man can buy that old car outside for $60,000 with high mileage that keeps falling apart, he can pay $50,000 for you. If not, find a man that meets your qualifications. And if this man says, oh, you asking for too much, he's a man that has not reached his full potential. And 50,000 is a low number. But ladies, listen, he still has to take care of you from head to toe and pay every single bill, because your money is your money and his money is your money. Don't ever get it twisted. Make him pay for it. $50,000. Hello, $50,000. What's your name? $50,000. Can I come over? $50,000. Can you cook for me? $50,000. Oh, I want to be your husband. $50,000.
Negro, please. That's all I got for you. Because you know what? At that rate, it's cheaper to get a prostitute. I'm not advocating it. No, I'm not advocating that at all. But at that point, I can get a prostitute. I can get Homer Glow to come over here and clean up the house every 2 weeks. I'm not dirty like that anyway. I can get wash and fold. All that. Get everything I want taken care of before I go and, because he said hold on, this nigga here. I'm sorry, y'all, I don't mean to say that word. This Negro here. I'm gonna stick with Negro.
If he says he wants you, make him pay $50,000. And if he can't afford $50,000 up front, set up a payment plan. If he says, hello, what's your name? $50,000.
Hello, what's your name? 50,000. What does he say?
If he says he wants you, make him pay $50,000. And if he can't afford $50,000 up front, set up a payment plan. If he says, hello, what's your name? $50,000. Hey, can you cook me some food? $50,000. Hey,
Real talk. Do that even sound like it makes sense? Oh, let me see what Jesse said. Let me see. Jesse said, I don't like being chivalrous, only to find that it's a one-way street. Her mouth gets strong, etc. What does she automatically do to show how much she appreciates having a gentleman in her life? You open the door for her, but she won't pop the door for you when you get to the other side. Yeah. Hold on. Let me see what Phoenicia said. But on the real, there are superficial men and women who will follow his instructions. It is similar to the post about the lady divorcing her husband because she said and this is the thing. Do y'all know what the average household income in America is right now? The average household in America is $51,000. But you stupid, Lakeisha. Lakeisha said $50,000 for 9 versions. Okay, I might pay that for that, but I'm joking. But the average household in America right now is $51,000. The average black woman in America right now, average, not talking about you, talking about average, is $28,000. So you tell me where somebody's supposed to get $50,000. I used to listen to Kevin Simmons, rest in peace. I ain't listened to him a whole lot, but I listened to it, and I can listen through the stuff. But I remember one time he had a lady on. She said she made like $40,000, and she said she wanted a man to make $200,000. He said, "What percentage of men do you think make $200,000?" She said 50%. So where did these? Now, don't get me wrong. I need you all also to understand that, Phoenicia, these young people are getting the bag. I mean, I know young people coming out of college making $80,000-$90,000 right out of college. They're living. They'll go downtown and get a $3,000 2-bedroom apartment and pay $1,500 a piece and live in the lap of luxury. So they're doing it different. I get it. They're doing it different. But for the average person to come out and this nut have the audacity to tell people that in order for him to talk to you, if he asks your name, tell him 50,000, bruh, man, go kick several rocks and do it barefooted for real. And I hope you break a toe, because you're giving advice that's not going to do anything but farther deepen the divide that's already deep enough between us. Yeah. Hold on. I'm okay. We start talk about real bad about women that say they want men to pay their bills up front. Make sense. So should we? I don't say what should we say? Maybe I'm missing your point, Victoria. You said we talk real, and the phone is on, so y'all don't have to type. You can call. I love conversation. But you say what does it mean? What are you saying with that regard when you say that? Because he's saying that as soon as we ask your name, don't say your name, say 50,000. And people on the post were playing and joking and saying, just call me 50,000. I see 14 people in the chat, but I only see 6 reactions so far. Please, ma'am, please, sir, either share this video or like or heart this post, because it kind of helps the algorithm, and then more people start seeing it, the more activity we have. So if you don't mind, please, ma'am, please, sir, share that. Share this and also like this post. Yeah, she said I'm middle aged. I don't even have $50,000 worth of stamina. Some of the women on the post start saying, "Well, that's my dowry." Man, but if you study what dowry produced, some of those women were some of the most abused women in history, because you bought them. That's property. Would you want to be somebody's property? And I'm gonna tell you this: if he's for you, if it's really your dude, your person, you ain't got to talk to him about paying no bills. He's gonna want to take care of you, because that's what men do. If he's really your person, he's gonna want to provide for you. I was talking to a little young boy at work today, 21 years old, and we got into the conversation. He said, "Didn't nobody have to teach me to pay for dinner?" He said, "If I take somebody out, I want to do that." So I don't know. So the conversations that we're having, I never had any of those conversations in all the years I was married. So it makes me think that a lot of these conversations are concocted or created to make us, created for confusion. Huh? I'm not paying bills until, but Jesse, I ain't paying bills until we married. That's the other thing. That's the other problem, Jesse, I think, is that we give boyfriends and girlfriends spousal privileges. Why would I be paying your bills, and why would you expect me to pay your bills and you're just my girlfriend and we're not married? Let me see. Let me read Veronica's comment. She said, on the one hand, we have this man that says, introduce yourself as 50,000 to women, but we then turn around and talk about those same women poorly. So which is it? Do we say show up with all the money? Oh, yeah, I get it. And that's my point. And I'm not denigrating the women in this instance. I'm denigrating him for putting bad advice out. That's my point. Because we as influencers are responsible for the messages that we perpetuate. I've been preaching for 30 years. And I'm gonna be honest, I used to be afraid of what I would say before I preach on Sunday morning because I didn't want to say the wrong thing because I know people are moved by what I say. I know that I have influence. So for this nut to run around here and tell women to come out asking for 50K, knowing that the average man ain't gonna have it, what's gonna happen? It's gonna leave her by herself. It's gonna leave him by himself, and we still got to divide, and we won't bond because somebody else gonna come up with something else like 50-50. Somebody else ain't gonna want to go to the Cheesecake Factory. Something else. I mean, it's always gonna be something as opposed to us saying, "Hey, I got your back, and you got my back, and let's figure out how to make this thing work." And what we're proposing, and y'all agreed with me last week because most of y'all said deal, is we're proposing that the way we're going to make a concerted effort to communicate with each other is by learning each other's love language. But he's saying, nah, it's transactional. He's saying if he asks your name, 50,000. If he asks you to cook him a meal, 50,000. I haven't really asked women to cook for me. Now I've had some offer. Because I don't want you doing anything that's spousal. You don't have to come over. Now, if you start doing something because you call yourself loving me or liking me, then you're doing it out of the kindness of your heart. I'm not asking it because I don't expect that from you. I don't. I'm sorry. And those that those that I guess develop that need early on, who you looking for? Mama? Somebody to take care of you? I'm a grown man. I'll figure this out. I promise you I'll figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. Listen, I wasn't the best at Victoria. I wasn't the best. Well, I really didn't feel like going over there standing I didn't feel like going over to that laundromat, having to wash clothes, come back, put them in the dryer, got all these other ethnicities with hair all over the washing machine. You know, I got this phobia for hair. You know, I got enough dealing with my child here and the different weaves and stuff she has. So because I knew I had to get things done, you know what I did? I started taking my clothes to the washing for. I found somebody who did them for $1 a pound or $1.05 a pound. I don't know why every time I went somewhere for $1.05 a pound, by the third time they were up to $1.25 a pound. But my point is, I get those things handled. I'm not depending on her or you or anybody. Things that my wife used to do, I'm not depending on a girlfriend to do those things. I'm not. And if I'm not depending on those things, then my expectations are low enough. I think we start to develop a dependency on these things. And then when they don't happen, it creates frustration. If you're doing something out of the kindness of your heart, keep doing it. But if you're doing it because you feel like you're trying to do it to draw somebody in or to catch them up, then you might set yourself up for disappointment. Let me see what Victoria said. Victoria said, we have such unrealistic expectations, and then when they aren't met, we're ready to run away. Absolutely. Quit, give up, and bash the other person because they didn't live up to the what? Not the idea. I love to use an acrostic for idea. Idea, I do everything alone. It's not vision. A vision involves more than one person. A vision has been cast forward and we're working together towards a common goal. But if it's an idea, because sometimes you'll have an idea in your head that you haven't shared with the other party. And then how you going to get mad at them because they don't know what you're thinking? That don't make sense to me. That makes absolutely no sense to me. You're upset because somebody didn't think like you thought and you didn't even share the thought. That's why I told you Victoria last week and Sunday when she was on last week, I'm not a good guesser. I'm going to tell you that right now. I am not a very good guesser. So if you're waiting on me to guess what you're thinking, I'm probably going to get it wrong. And I'm going to be honest with you, because I already know I'm not a good guesser, I'm probably going to bow out on the guessing. I'm probably not even going to try to guess. And I guess which one? No, I'm not. Just tell me. Guess what? No, I'm not. Just go and let me know. I don't like getting wrong answers. I really don't like getting wrong answers. I don't. I don't. We don't fail test. Don't do that. Well, not any test that I have a chance of passing. Now, if it's multiple choice test, I got a chance to pass that joke. because I know how to take tests. But anyway, hold on. Jesse said, "How is this? That's my partner." He said, "How is Miss 50,000 paying her bills now or before she met me? Who paid it last month? What kinds of debt is she carrying, and for what expenses?" What's up, Carol Brewer? Call in to talk to me. Hold on, Carol, stay there for a minute. I want you. I'm gonna play this video again, and Carol, you can call in if you want to. You know I like talking to Miss Brewer. Let me play this video one more time, Miss Carol. Hold on, I like this. Hold on. Let me play this. This is what they saying, Miss Carol. Now you tell them now you are OG, Miss Carol. So tell me if he's on with this one. Hold on.
He says he wants you. Make him pay $50,000. And if he can't afford $50,000 up front, set up a payment plan. If he says, hello, what's your name? $50,000. Hey, can you cook me some food? $50,000. Hey, I got problems going on. $50,000. You're not playing wife to no man that cannot show you that he has husband characteristics. He must be a provider. He must be a leader, and he must be able to sacrifice for you. Because what a man invests in, a man appreciates. If this man can buy that old car outside for 60.
Negro, please. That's all I got for you. He's saying you ain't, hey, Sunday. He said, you ain't playing wife for nobody. Why are you playing wife? Because guess what? If you are a wife, you get you don't just get 50,000, you get it all. That's what me and I know. That's how we talk. But I'm not paying you. Like I said, it's cheaper to get a prostitute. Miss Carol, what you think about that? What you think about that? 404-860-2775. Jesse, what do you think about that? How much did she charge Pookie to have 2 kids he not involved with? That's on me too. Okay. Jess, we ain't choosing violence tonight. Because my problem is not with her. My problem was with him. Because somebody is going to listen to him, and those numbers are not even realistic. The average household income in America is $51,000 a year. I trained some young salespeople today. All of them were under the age of 25. And they've all had jobs in the neighborhood of $16 an hour, $17 an hour. We did math. We did math today. Math on what, $700 a week is how much is that on 52 over 52 weeks? $36,000. That ain't no money. So you make $700 a week, and you think you're doing good, right? And you got the right now to tell somebody, and he go to work too. Because I seen they advertise now, bro. You can find a job because when we were coming up, I'm 51 years old. So when I was coming, Jesse, tell me if I'm wrong. Phoenicia, you might be before your time, but Jesse, when we were in high school, what was the minimum wage? $3.25. My baby is 20 now. When she was 14, she had a job at KFC. I think they were paying her $14 an hour back then. But even that, $14 an hour times 40 hours is $560 a week. Take out taxes, $425. Do that times 52 weeks, $22,000. God forbid rent $700-800 a month. Got a little $500-600 car note. How much money you got left? But somebody got you, give you $50,000. Where's the value in that? $375 your first job. Mine was $325 at McDonald's on Camp Robbins. Yeah, it takes 2 whole paychecks to run a household, and that's from somebody that married people know that. That's why married people don't have 50-50 conversations. They have mine and yours conversation, our conversation. Not like I said before. If you don't understand the us in relationships, because us, me and you, if you don't understand the us in relationships, you'll always hear me well when I say this. You will always, if you don't understand the us in relationship, you will always think that you're being used. Always. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You will always think you're being used as long as you don't understand the us in relationships. It takes us to make this thing happen. Now, that might, however, us looks. Now, if it was a certain season of our life where it was cheaper for her to stay home than to pay daycare for 2 or 3 kids. So I worked and took care of everything in the household. You do what works for your household. And because she's not working outside of the house, doesn't mean she's not managing the house. Yeah. He said, Avery, how much you pay me a jeans? Avery used to run Jeans West. Did Avery say a comment? Did I miss something? I'll make sure. Because Avery always says good stuff. But yeah, but then you have this dude right here, the one you said giving Derek. I've never got into Derek Jackson. So I really haven't gotten into many other influencers because I have to protect my eye gates and my ear gates. Because, I mean, you know, those are like the windows to the soul. So I can't let a whole lot of bad information come inside, because if it comes inside, I might start believing some of that stuff. And I don't want to believe and acquiesce to any of that negative energy, because it just doesn't make sense. But then you have those cheerleading saying that that's what you need to be doing. How? Where's the $50,000 going to come from? And what do I get? And so here's the thing. You know, he might have even had good intentions. I get what he's saying. He's saying don't be used. Don't let women come in and don't let men come in and use you, you know, put babies in you and keep running. And I get all that. That all makes sense. You know, I get that. But there's a different, see, all of our intentions will produce an impact. And sometimes you can have good intentions, but then produce a negative impact, because what he's doing is he's deepening the divide by saying if he can't give you $50,000, then you don't need to be messing with him. He talking about if he can afford to go out and buy that $60,000 car. I don't have a whole lot of friends going out wasting money on $60,000 cars. So is he talking about the average man, or is he talking about a few? Because we're all tainted by the sizzle. You know, you have been at a Mexican restaurant and you went in and you had every intention of ordering tacos. You know, you planned on you were gonna get tacos, but then the table over, the waiter or the waitress came through, and you heard this sound. It's a good night, Conjure. But you heard that sound, and what was it? It was fajitas. And so now, because you heard the sizzle sold you. So it took you from wanting tacos to now wanting steak. So many times we're sold by the sizzle and not the substance, because what you really wanted, you changed it because of a sound you heard or something that you saw. And so many times on social media, we see a whole lot of sizzling going on. I think reality TV was a straight ploy, if you will. I think they wanted to show us, you know, lifestyles of the rich and famous, you know, Real Housewives, show these people driving these nice cars and getting these $500 and $600 and $800 weaves and wearing these nice clothes and all these types of things so that we could develop an appetite for those things. Because now, there you go, Jesse, we have a misconception of what average is, because watching reality TV, what did it do? It normalized a lot of those things. It made it look like those things were touchable. It made it look like those things were achievable, because we start to identify with these celebrities on TV, and we think that because they have it, we can get it too. And you spend a whole paycheck on a pair of shoes. There's something wrong with that picture. I know it's your money. I get it. You grown. Do what you do. I understand. I get it. But is it fiscally responsible? I had one time I was calling into this other dude. I've had him on the show before, but I was calling in his show. I mean, I was on commenting his comments, and he said something about buying a woman this and buying a woman that. Keisha, I don't know if I told you about this or not, but he's talking about buying. Jesse, this was funny. He's telling me buy this for buy a woman. And I said, bruh, I'm not buying nothing. I wouldn't do that. And then he said, well, James, if you can't afford it, just say that. Nigga, I make 3 times the amount you make on a weekend. I make more in a weekend than most people make all month long. That's by the grace of God. So no, don't, but I'm not gonna, I know what I'm gonna spend my money on, because I look at my money as an investment, whether it's clothes, whatever. I'm looking for a return on that. And I'm not just randomly handing out money just because. What's crazy, Nicole? Which part did I say that was wrong? Are we agreeing right now? I don't know. It magnified the social divide between class. It definitely, Victoria, it definitely. But the thing is, it did it subtly. It did it so, it was so smooth the way that it did it, because now we actually think we're in that class. I mean, how many friends that have red bottoms right now? He told me I don't have it. Nigga, if he only knew. But yeah, man, please. I mean, I get checks. Like I might one check for a weekend. Never mind, I'm not bragging, but don't come for me with that crazy. He almost got cussed out. But I try not to cuss, especially on their platforms. But that's what happens, because we start identifying with these people, and we think we're just like them. You got people. If you only make $35,000 a year, and you got, never mind. Priorities. That's the key word, Sandra, right there. Priorities. Let me see what Dominic said. Okay. I hear that. I agree that he is giving bad advice, but we have to be mindful on telling someone where to set where they feel their value is. No doubt about that. But my point is, he's making it a blanket statement. And then everybody will run and people will run with that. I mean, if you feel like that's your value, guess what, Dominic Morton? If you feel like that's your value, I bet you won't be running around advertising and asking for it, because you know it and you exude it. And people who recognize value, are people who would pay that kind of money or give that kind of money. They're the kind of people who recognize value and they invest in value, right? But people who walking around, that's just like I just left Target and what's the name of this place? Zaxby's a few minutes ago, and there was a dude standing there with a sign that said he needed some money, right? He that's his value, and he's advertising. That's the value that he feels like he has. That's what he feels like he's worth, right? He's advertising his value. Let me see. I'm getting my invoice because she said value is what the market will tell. Yeah, I get it. People that can be bought can be kept. That's why I get it. And people that recognize value don't advertise. They don't. When was the last time you saw a Rolls Royce commercial? I'll wait. But people buy them every day because they recognize the value in it, and they'll go and find that value. And they'll invest that value. And when they invest in value, they're expecting to get a return on that investment. Absolutely. I'll pay for peace. And I ain't talking about P-I-E-C-E. I'm talking about P-E-A-C-E. I'll pay for someone. And I'm not paying for that, but I'm paying for you. I'm investing in that value, that atmosphere that you create, because I love you. And because you're her. And I want to see you smile. And that goes back full circle, because I know what your love language is. I'm going to work feverishly to fill that love tank. I'm going to be very intentional, because I know, and I'm being honest with you all. 3 months ago, I probably sucked at this, and I'm probably still sucked now, but I'm getting better because y'all are helping me. We're having these conversations. And I hope I'm helping you. I hope when you put something before me that you didn't understand about men, that Jesse, that myself, that Anthony, some of us other men, Marcel, some of us can tell you what we're really thinking. And guess what, Sandra? If you ask us what we're thinking and we tell you, accept it. You don't have to guess anymore. I know I've had people that ask me a question, I'll answer their question, and then they'll tell me, no, that ain't what huh? You ain't have to guess. I told you. I let you know. I did. I did. And so, and that's how this whole thing started. Women, you all are great at expressing yourselves. You're very great. You're very good at communicating. Now, and Willie Lynch said something about that. He said that women will raise their sons to be physically strong but independently weak. You ever found yourself talking for your boys instead of letting them talk for themselves? Making them independently weak mentally. It happens. So some of our boys aren't equipped to communicate. So sometimes they have to process to get ready for the hard conversation that you're trying to have right now. Yeah. 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 Sometimes because this is a marathon. This isn't a sprint. So we're getting to know each other. And you'll recognize, Phoenicia, as you just said, and like Phoenicia and I are going to talk about in a couple of weeks, you'll start to learn the rules of communication. Like my friend did me that one time when she saw that James was on the verge of shutting down the first time, she recognized that characteristic. And she said, okay, how do I deal with James when James shuts down? And guess what? I didn't have an answer at that particular moment because no one had ever asked me that question. Because I know I shut down, but I never talked myself on how to get out of it. And if she cared enough, which I think she did, she said, how do I deal with James once he shuts down? That's starting to set up rules for communication. So if we had maybe gotten into a relationship or something, if we went farther along, then we probably would have came away with a conclusion. When I see you shut down, then I'm probably going to give you 5-10 minutes. I'm going to walk away, whatever, we'll do this, then then we'll come back and talk. Or maybe we'll go to texting at this particular point or whatever that rule is. Now, some of y'all say, I don't like the text. Whatever produces effective communication. I say, one thing I used to do was have 3 a.m. conversations. In the bedroom, 3 a.m. conversation. I mean, when there was no light in the room whatsoever, you couldn't even see the light of the alarm clock, but it was dark. And that's when we would have our deepest conversations, 3 a.m. conversations. But you find what works for you and you find a way to be effective in that communication. But as I'm saying, we have to be careful about taking advice, bad advice. Now, we saw some bad advice, and I got a good crowd right now. Let's look at some good advice. And the phone number is still set, 404-860-2775. Y'all can talk about some mistakes you made in communicating, or if you want to talk about a mistake you see that you're currently making. And because of our conversation, now you see where you might have had some error. I see Dominique said a minute ago, guilty. Maybe you share your information, and somebody else listening will say, you know what, I've been in the same situation. And I need to make the same corrections. That's good stuff. But let's watch this X video. And now this to me is good advice. This to me is really good advice. Because this brother's asked a question. And when he answered it, I mean, really, really well. Let's check this out.
Do you need a woman to meet you where you at?
I think for dudes, for me, like I'm an aggressive spender in terms of like my assets and stuff like that, so I'm spending, I'm one bad deal away where I could be check to check, what I'm saying? So, for me, I'm not in a position right now where I could say confidently I could just take care of somebody.
That's
now,
transparent.
no,
Yeah.
and that's what it is. Now I'm making money, I'm making over 6 figures, but I still understand that I'm one bad deal away from, now I'm living back to how I was before I got my job.
Yeah.
So me, I'm not looking for women I gotta take care of. Now, if that's who you are, there's dudes out here playing that game, and I'm not playing that, and I put my hands up and say that's not the game I'm playing. So if that's the game you're playing, and like that's what I said, even with AD, we had our conversations. Like I've always been transparent that I'm not that guy. Now, will I take care of you? Will you have to pay the mortgage? No, because I already got my crib.
Right.
Will you have to pay for
Facts.
some of your car notes? No, but
I
there's
say this all the time.
But there's some stuff that I might need your assistance with, like, you know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to, and then also too, like you need to help me out. If you're not helping out financially, organization, like sir, we gotta have something where we building some type of dynamic. And if it's just like you got my back,
Moral support.
Now, to me, that's good advice, and he got a point. Now, me personally, I'm still on that one. That I'm still on the fact that I ain't trying to. Yeah, do y'all do the shacking thing? Guilty on speaking for my son. Okay, got you. My mistake is that I'm an overthinker. Okay, do y'all do the shacking thing? Because he said, I'm letting you know right now, there are dudes out here that will pay the bills. I'm just not that guy. And that's okay. I think now you know, once you're presented with information, then you have the opportunity to act accordingly. He's telling you point blank, I'm not paying all the bills. Now he's saying, I will, if we live together, because you live in my house, I'm going to pay the mortgage. And if you, because I don't think he was talking about marriage. I think he was talking about just in a relationship. And I think that's part of the problem. We treat our boyfriends and girlfriends like spouses. And then, I mean, if you do that, what do you have to look forward to when you get married? What changes? Mr. Phoenicia said, I did once. I woke up one day and was like, how did you and your kids get here? Oh my God, he had his kids living with you too? He was looking for somewhere to stay. I can't do it. I don't even want to room. I mean, even when I got divorced, you know, my money was funny as I don't know what. But I couldn't see myself living with anybody. I'm too grown. And I'm too honorary. I mean, I need my space. You know, when my daughter moved in with me, that was a culture shock because I had been living alone for 5 years. But that's my child, you know, and she was like, Dad, I know you were going to get a 2-bedroom and you were going to use it for a studio, so you can just put a little futon in there for me. No, you live here now. This is your house as well. So that's your room. Would you like to paint a wall? Would you like me to do this? Because you're living here. But that's my child. Nobody, I'm living another grown man or anybody. You can spend a night, but even if you spend a night, you got to have somewhere. If I spend the night at your house, I got to go home. And I might stay there 4 nights a week if we lived in the same city, but I need to have somewhere to go. Because I need my sanity. You say, I've lived alone for a long time as well. Tell me about it. Yeah, when you listen, I mean, y'all going to read about it when my book comes out soon. But I tell people, when I first moved, after living with a family for 16, 17 years, when I first moved into my new apartment, I mean, silence for me sounded like noise. It straight sounded like noise. So it really wasn't peace. It was kind of chaos in my head because I was so used to hearing the children, you know, moving around. I was used to hearing the dog bark. You know, I was used to having conversation. But when I moved out, I was by myself, but eventually I got used to it. I would go the whole day if I didn't talk on the phone to anybody, because I don't even like talking on the phone, to be honest with you. But if I go a whole day without talking to anybody, unless I talk to myself, I didn't even have conversations, right? And so that means when people started coming back in my space, it starts to become almost became annoying because I ain't want people around. So I don't know how I'm gonna feel. It's gonna take time before I'm ready to move forward and then talk about moving in and living and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna need that paper to bind us. Because as long as I have the option to leave, I'm out. But that paper, once we get married, then now we got a contract. So yeah, I got to stay here for sickness and health and for richer, for poor, and you know, and all those things, you know. So but we don't do it like that anymore. You know what I mean? It's a business transaction. You know, we got this, it's just a contract. Whatever, man. You do what you want to do. But me personally, and I do want to get married again. I will. And when I do it, I'm going to do it with the right person. And they're going to understand that my love language is what it is. And I'm going to know what their love language is. And we're going to figure out how to communicate. I don't want to be sitting around making you mad at me. I don't want to feel guilty when I get off the phone because you get mad because you're not ready to get off yet, but I'm ready to get off now. I want there to be peace. That's it. A phone number. Okay, let me put it up. 404. Let me find it. 870. There we go. There. No, that's 874-860-2775. Phone number's there. Let me see what Victoria said. My fiance and I are currently looking for a place, and it's going to be a new thing for us to live together. He has his place, and I have mine. We may spend some nights together, but we have the option to go to our own place if needed. Absolutely. Yeah. Have y'all set a date? I know you said fiance. Have y'all set a date? Have y'all for the wedding? Because I want to hear about it. I want to see pictures and all that kind of stuff. I want to congratulate you, all that kind of stuff, and bring him Saturday night. He set a date. She hadn't set it yet. Oh, okay. Don't be one of them 14-year fiancés just to say y'all thinking about getting married. So y'all tell people y'all fiance. I'm joking. Don't cuss me out. Don't cuss me out. But y'all know people do that though. They'll be like, "That's my fiance. That's my fiance," and ain't bit more thinking about getting married than there's a man in the moon just talking. I'm joking. That's not your testimony. I know Victoria, so don't. It's an inside joke. Oh, okay. Well, don't be coming out here if we can't be involved in it. Don't do it. Look like, but Victoria said you better get out of her business. She says she know more than she does. Oh, okay, I got it. Are you the therapist, Phoenicia? You're the therapist. You know you can't share private information that you learned in therapy. I know. I'm just playing. Phoenicia is doing what's the name of your therapy clinic, Phoenicia? Give yourself a commercial right quick. What's the name of your therapy clinic for those in Little Rock that need a therapist, somebody to talk to, kind of help them make their decisions? Phoenicia Mosley is there in Little Rock. So far, I've seen that she gives good advice. If she did now, I tell her. I ain't gonna lie, I don't agree with that one. Creekside, www.Creekside Care and Consulting LLC. That's what it is. So if y'all need somebody to talk to about marriage counseling and all those kind of things, look at that. Do you do virtual? Okay, look at that. I'm already got you free commercial. Free commercial. I'm gonna need a patron ad or something. I'm joking. But I am gonna start making that available because I have people who have been asking me lately, do I accept sponsors and all that kind of stuff. So we're putting together sponsor packages and all that kind of stuff. So that's it. But now we want to really be careful about giving good advice. We really won't only covers the state of Arkansas. Okay. I think Sandra is in Arkansas, I believe. Yeah, we want to be careful about giving good advice. And then you also, when you're presented advice, I mean, let me just say this, and Keisha, type this up and put this on the screen. Let me just say this right quick. Advice is optional. If somebody gives that, people give away free stuff all the time. But me personally, if somebody gave away some free shoes, but they were a size 10, they wouldn't do me any good because I wear a size 12. So just because somebody giving you advice doesn't mean that advice fits you. Advice is optional. So if you hear something online and it sounds like bad advice, return it to sender. You ever had a piece of mail came to your house, it had your address on it, but wasn't your name? What did you do? You write RTS on it and put it right back in the mailbox. It's your address, but it's not your name. Send it back. So if somebody sends some advice to you that's non-applicable, what you gonna do? Send it back. This nut is running around here telling folk, if they ask your name 50,000, if they say this 50,000, you move too far. No, we can go back to the point. Come back to it. You talking about the point about answering for your sons? This is open mic night. So hey, if y'all said y'all want to talk about the Iran versus Israeli conflict, we'll talk about it. It don't matter. No, we're not on a certain point. But it happens. We cripple them. And so later on, they're looking for somebody to take care of them because it happens. Oh, the shacking portion of it. Okay. All of it. But come on, call in and talk about it. For real. Yeah, man, this is, I don't know. We've been positive. We've been negatively infected by bad advice. And it's not going to stop anytime soon. Now, they talked about Kevin so bad, and most of them didn't even listen to what he was saying. Okay, she's called. Got it. All right, hold on, Dominic. Let me get you in, okay? 1 second. Present, share screen. What's called? Let me go back over here and take your phone. All right, talk to me. How you doing, Dominic? Am I pronouncing?
I'm doing. It's Dominique, yes.
Okay, talk to me.
Okay, this is so far out of the norm for me. I just wanted to speak really quickly on the whole shacking piece. Tried that. One thing that I've come to realize that is one thing that I feel that doesn't work. Giving people that whole kind of wife situation when you're not married, I feel that it really pulled me to a place of disrespecting that individual. I thought that when, allowing him to my home, but then he didn't meet that expectation when we were talking about financial things. Like he got comfortable and wasn't pulling weight the way that I thought that a husband should. And I was still finding myself doing things the way that I always had. And I felt that when I look back on it, I felt ugly the way that I did things, but there was so much frustration that was built because I was still working as hard, if not harder, I felt with his presence still being there. And I was like, you know what? I think it's going to be best if you just leave because I don't want to be this person. I didn't like the way that I felt in response to having to still pull as hard as I did with his presence. Does that make sense?
It makes a whole lot of sense. It makes a whole lot of sense. Let me ask you a question. How long did y'all live together?
Oh shoot, about 3 years.
How long did y'all date before y'all lived together?
We had known each other for well over 20 years. But we dated for about a year.
Dated for a year, and then y'all moved in together, and then you found yourself doing. So what was the purpose? What was y'all's reasoning for moving in together? Was it save money? Or was it y'all trending towards marriage? What was the what was the reasoning for y'all moving in together?
The goal was marriage. The goal was marriage. Like I said, we've known each other for 20 years. The goal was marriage. He was not supposed to live there that long, though. It was convenient. It was only supposed to last for a couple of months. But he ended up staying there, and it worked out good to begin with, but it didn't stay good. And so there was resentment because it wasn't. And I mean, I guess it was a good thing because it helped me to realize that marriage wasn't going to work with this individual. But yet and still, it just opened my eyes to the whole shacking thing. Just it that didn't work. I was given wife before wife, if that makes sense.
I get it. What if you were to do now, looking at that in reverse or looking at it in the rearview mirror, what would you do different this time? Or what would you do different in the future?
I think that I would not. I think that I would definitely set my standards, and I would have I feel that I would have more of a choice to. I can put it out there, and I would have more of a choice to say. I don't know necessarily a choice, but I could see whether or not those things were being met, because there's no reason for you to have to really do those things because you're not having to work for it because you're there with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get it. So I think that's why, I always use the analogy about how we don't have positive examples for marriage now, right? We don't have positive, Barack and Michelle, they gave us this whole, ideology of what we thought marriage looked like. And before them, we had Heathcliff and Claire, you know what I'm saying? And we had, Harriet and Carl, we had all these different families, but we don't have those examples anymore, right? So we have these ideologies and these figmentations of what we think a relationship is supposed to look like. And then when we get in it and we find out what real life looks like, you know what I'm saying? Now But like you said, you start to build resentment because you're around that person. And what was he doing that was so different? You know what I'm saying? The only difference is you just see it more. You see it on every day because now you got to sleep with it. You got to wake up with him. You know what I'm saying? You don't see him at night. All those types of things. So I don't know. Maybe that's why people like Phoenicia are necessary. You know, that's why.
Well, I think what it is that it didn't require us to really put in the work and what it needed to be for us to really truly know, like, to grow and to know each other.
Yeah.
We just fell into habit of each other.
Yeah.
So we didn't have to really learn and to work for each other. We just grew into habit.
And that's my point. That's where the premarital counseling. Because think about it. Before we had premarital counseling, like premarital counselors like Phoenicia, we had Big Mama. You understand what I'm saying? And we had aunties and uncles, and we had people who were examples. You know, that if they saw something wrong, guess what? Back in the day, we wouldn't even get married if Big Mama said something ain't right about that boy. Something ain't right about their family. You understand what I'm saying? Because we involved them in the process. You know, we brought them around family. I asked a question a couple of weeks ago about if a man introduces you to his family, what does that mean? And every woman on the post said it don't mean SHIT. It don't mean nothing. And I'm like, huh? Because if I introduce you to my mama, that means something. Because guess what? I'm trying to get my mama's opinion on you. Because that means I need her approval, right? And so before we
now, see, that depends on the caliber of man. Because if you got somebody that's trifling, that just becomes a part of their ritual.
I get it.
Because if they family know that he ain't nothing, then they here come Richard bringing another one of his women around.
I get it, and especially if everybody if that's what we if that's the premise we start with, that everybody ain't. You know what I'm saying? With me, are you still there? Did I lose you? Did I lose? If I lost you, call back. I think it hung up. If I lost you, call back. But what I was going to say is, I get it. Everybody ain't that. I understand that. But how do I know that until I get into the relationship and get to know that? Because if I start off with that premise, like I tell you all the time, like I tell y'all all the time, everybody starts off with 100 with me. You can call back. Everybody starts off with 100 with me. If we're talking, I think that much. And honestly, why am I talking to you enough? Or I think enough about you that I'm taking you home to mama. You said my mama, his mama know he ain't that. I get all that kind of stuff. And if that's the case, then why y'all still talking? Why are you even going to meet the mama? Why? But I'm talking about me. I got these fingerprints. I can't speak for nobody else but me. If I take you home to meet my mama, if I take you around my family, I'm watching several things. Number one, you don't what? You know you love speaking Raquel loves speaking in broken sentences. Do you realize I'm saying like 15, 16, 18 comments? So when you say we don't, I don't know which one you're responding to. So give me a full sentence and I can respond. But if I take you around my family, I see something in you. I do. And every man that I know, I don't know a lot of them, and like you only know the ones that you know as well. You don't know every one of them, so we can't speak for the whole of humanity. And just like me, I'll never speak for all. I hope you don't let them take you around your family too soon. And I would respect you more if I say, well, I'm about to take you around my family. You'd be like, no, I ain't ready for that yet. Cool. I can respect that. I can. But if I've thought enough of you to take you around mine, you are a potential. Some men take more than one woman. Hey, there's always a sum. There's always that. But can we operate from a premise where we say, let's just do this, Sandra. Let's give them 100 and then let them prove themselves. Let's assume they're innocent and then prove and show you they're guilty. Because so many times now we have to prove our innocence. Because if you come to the table saying some men are like that, hell, some women are like this and like that and like this. But I'm not gonna let my bad experience with one or two women mess me up without mess up my perception towards all women. I'm not. I've had bad experience. I've had women who hurt me. I've had women who upset me. But that don't mean I'm mad at all women. And I know you're not saying that either. Yeah. Yeah. I can't. I was gonna ask that question, but I don't now. Dominic, to answer your, I don't. I mean, that's your. I get it. I get it. I get it. And that I think that's what happens when we go into relationships and start moving in and all those types of things without having, as Phoenicia would say, a plan. Not having those discussions about who's going to take care of this and who's going to take care of that, and what kind of what our goals look like. All those things. Everything is a learning process. But the problem is, I think some of us come in acting like we know. And women do. Y'all mature a lot faster than we do as men. Y'all do. And so if we don't have conversations and set proper expectations, Victoria said something earlier that made sense. So many times we set up unrealistic expectations. And then when people don't meet those expectations, now we're upset. Now we're hurt because they didn't meet those expectations. They weren't realistic in the first place. They're not. I like for the rules to be established as I go, because guess what? we're going to encounter a bump in the road that have you ever used a GPS and you're driving through a neighborhood and you're looking at the GPS and barely looking at the road, and then all of a sudden you didn't even see it because you missed the sign, but then you hit a road bump. Boom. Do you stop or do you adjust? Because if you're on one street and there's one road bump, I mean, there's one speed bump. That's what I meant to say, not road bump, speed bump. Then there's probably going to be another one. So first of all, I'm going to drop my speed down to 25 miles per hour, because I'm not going to go 50 miles per hour on a road that I know already has speed bumps. So if I'm in this relationship now and we're going 50 miles per hour, then all of a sudden we hit a speed bump. Whoa, let me slow down, get down to 25, because next one I hit, I'm going to ease over it because I want to see how it feels. I don't want to damage anything. All that same thing, I'm approach the same relationship same way until we get in smooth territory. What's that area over there on Rodney, when you get off on Barrel Road and make that right and cut over to Rodney Parham? You go down that one road and they got those speed bumps. But then when you get on Rodney Parham, you can ride smooth again. Yeah. And rules have to be, that's why I said rules have to constantly be revisited, because sometimes that's my point. That's exactly what I said a moment. Let me put that on the screen, because you just proved what I just said. The rules a lot of times are established as we go, because we're going to, if you never heard me say it, every day I become more me. That's what you're talking about. You talk about evolve. I become more me every day. I'm more me today than I was yesterday because of some of the experiences that I met new people today. I went places I didn't go yesterday. And when I was presented with this new information, now I can evolve. So sometimes the rules are established. Now we have ground rules, but if we go forward and we're presented with a new challenge, now we have to establish those rules as we go, as issues arise. What you say, Victoria? A lot of us are in competition with the Joneses and think we have to beat them to the finish line of just staying in our own lane and living life according to where we are. It's the same with relationships. We have to beat so and so getting married or having a baby or getting a house, whatever you can think of. Yeah. That's the thing. And the other thing is, every relationship is individual and unique. It has its own fingerprint. Every one of us does. Every relationship does. And if we try to compare our relationship, that's why I talk about advice being optional. Put that on the screen again, Keisha. That's why I talk about advice being optional, because that advice might work for that relationship, but that doesn't mean that it's going to work for your relationship. You've been in 10 relationships and all those relationships ended bad. Are all men bad, or are you the common denominator in that relationship? Same thing, you brother. You've been in 5, 6. You've been married 3 times, 4 times, and you failed in all your marriages. What's the common denominator? Maybe you need to go back to the drawing board and work on becoming a better you. Does that make sense? That's real talk. You remember Phoenicia and Raquel, you were there. At the last event we did, what did I put on the stage? I put a mirror on the stage because a mirror has a purpose. We all look in the mirror to fix flaws. Now, some of us try to just cover up flaws. There's a difference. There's a difference. But when you really, if it's something that's fixable, right? If you realize that you have an attitude issue and you need to work on that, I'm him. I'm James. Some things I had to work on. I realized when I looked in that metaphorical mirror, there were several things that I had to work on if I wanted to become a better me, if I wanted to be a better version of myself, so that I can attract the most. I had a slow month this month. You know, I mean, I'm self-employed, so I do consulting, and I had a slow month. I had something scheduled for the end of the month, which I'm leaving tomorrow, heading to Arkansas and then Texas. But I had a slow month. But last Thursday, I went by my nail technician, and I said, you know what? She said, what you want, a manicure or manicure and pedicure? I said, you know what? Give me a manicure and pedicure. And so while she was doing my my nails, while she was doing my nails, I said, I had to come see you. She said, why? I said, because money seems to come to my hands when I let you take care of my hands. Like I said, I had a bad month all month long Thursday. And then Thursday I went. And so when I went and saw her, the next morning while I'm laying in the bed, I get a phone call from one of my dealerships saying, hey, I got 7 new trainees coming in, and I need you to come in and train them. Well, I get paid $500 a session to train my salespeople, and I do 2 sessions a day. You can do the math, and I might do 4 or 5 days in a week. Then I got another phone call from one of my companies saying, hey, I need you to go to New Mexico in May, and told me what weekend he needed me to go. And then I'm thinking, I didn't even ask him how much I was going to get paid. But when he told me, it was $1,000 more than what I normally get paid for those 3 days, right? And then I still got to go to Texas at the end of the month, you know. So I just told her the day before, I said, hey, whenever you do my nails, money comes to my hand. And I manifested something that hadn't happened yet, right? Because that's who I am, you know. So I attract certain things as I become a better version of myself, as you become a better version of yourself. And the part of that means looking that mentality. And those that know me, I haven't worked since I haven't worked a real job since 2017. I haven't. But I do okay. I pay my bills. Trust me, I do. But I manifested that when I started, first of all, looking at the man in the mirror, realizing that I'm 100% responsible for what goes on in my life, negative or positive. I realized that I'm not controlled by external circumstances, right? I've told you all in the past, I insulated. My stress level went down the more my middle finger went up. I had to insulate for a while to build myself up. But that was after looking at that man in the mirror and saying, ugh, wow, you do have some flaws. You do have some things that need to be fixed. But the good part about it, Sandra, is that the things that I thought needed to be fixed were fixable. They might not have been fixed overnight, but guess what? I could get on the path to better. I could start the process of fixing it. Like I told you in the past, I was good, man. I could tie my tie riding down the road on the way to work. Man, I could tie my tie. I'm a master at tying my tie perfect length. I could be going in the closet to get my shoes while I'm brushing my teeth because I knew where my teeth were. I mean, I knew I got about 1, 2, 3, 4 corners of my eyes, so I knew how to get the matter out of my eyes. So I didn't have to look in the mirror much. I didn't. Clothes went to the cleaner, so I just grabbed them off the clothes, pants, shirt, suit, all that stuff, and got in the car and went on to work. It was a routine. Never looked in the mirror. Never had to. Never had to. But just because you don't look in the mirror don't mean you don't need to look in the mirror. And I didn't. And so when I finally walked by a mirror one day and caught a glimpse of myself, I'm speaking metaphorically, but I caught a glimpse. I said, "Ugh, wow." And I wonder if you ever really take the time to look in the mirror, because some of us act like our stuff don't stink at all. I know mine does. Thank God they built Glade and all these, and it looked like a good place for a stick up, all that kind of stuff, because I understand that. I understand it. But I realize that there are things that need to be fixed. Listen, I could be half the problem or half the solution. And going into a new relationship, I don't want to be a part of the problem. I want to be a part of the solution. Yeah. She said doing the shadow work is hard. Yeah, but it's so gratifying. It's so gratifying. It's so humbling. And that's just a good place to start. And you don't have to stay there. You don't have to stay there, because it's okay to start, to be okay. But when you really look at the definition of humble, that's nowhere where we really just want to stay. Let me look that up right quick. I was looking at that actually the other day. Hold on. Yeah. Now, because it says humble means of low social, administrative, and political rank, or having or showing a modest or low estimate of one's own importance. Now, I'm not going to show you a low estimate of my importance, because I feel like I'm somebody. Fearfully and wonderfully made. God made me just a little bit lower than the angels, just a little bit. So don't be careful when you start talking about somebody humbled you. No, I'm looking. I just looked it up. I'm looking at it right now. I can show it. Hold on. I can show it to you. I'm looking it up. Or you want me to look up humility instead of humble? Because they come from the same root words. I think that we're in the same neighborhood. But let me just yeah, like I said, I'm on the other page looking it up. Hold on. Share screen. Definition of humble. Share. There it is. It says having or showing a modest or low estimate of one's own importance. I'm important. At least I feel like I am. Let me look at definition of humility, since I'm gonna be of modest or low view of one's importance. Same thing I just said. Yeah, of modest. So I don't want to have a low view of my importance. Yeah. A lot of people give up because this is her talking. A lot of people give up because the inner work is so uncomfortable, but there is growth when we are made most uncomfortable. We have to commit to the process of growth. The reason, let me see what Raquel says. She said the very reason, hold on, I hit the wrong one. The very reason I am in the position I am is because I did and continue to do the work. The flip side of healing, looking in the mirror, is you're at work with yourself. What are you saying? Mirror is your at with yourself is as what it is. Okay. You got to proofread, Raquel. I don't understand what you said on that one right there. But where you say I'm very reason you're in the position that you're in. What's the position that you're in? Yeah, well, no, that's the definition. No, but we've been taught. Let's see, we are taught certain things, but sometimes we don't understand the root of the teaching. And you got to remember who it was that taught us. Okay, yeah, when you're at peace with yourself. All right. Daddy, where my old Lord is. You gotta remember who taught us. And some of them wanted to keep us humble. because that belligerent nigger, as Willie Lynch would say, that belligerent nigger, when he got out of time, we would put him in front of the whole camp and tar and feather him and set him on fire and and we'll do it right in front of the woman and the baby, so that the woman would lose respect for him, and the baby would say, "Mama, why did daddy let that white man do that to him?" And all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we got to remember where that stuff. So yeah, that was their way of humbling us. In other words, we don't have any type of importance. Yeah, we don't have any importance. Yeah, so I get it. I'm gonna use another word. I'm about to use another one. I'm sure about to use me another word. Yeah, anybody finna humble me. Life did it though. I ain't gonna lie to you. And it's okay not to recognize you're important, but not to think of yourself more highly than you ought to have thought of yourself. That's okay. But that's all good. But listen, y'all. May the 4th on at the Kappa House in Little Rock, Arkansas, we will be having the bonding of the sexes too. There it is. Let's do it again. A night of reconciliation. It's a live podcast in front of a live audience. We're going to have a good time on that day. We have hold on. Let's look at this. Is just an example of what to look forward to.
Was the one in the role, because that's what I saw. That's what my aunties and them did. When I decided to get divorced, one of my aunties was like, "Girl, you better go back and get your man." And I had to respectfully say, if he was my man, then he wouldn't have did what he did. So from there, that's when I started to groom myself. I would never be in that situation again. Never. I've always made sure that I was established. So when I got divorced, or when the man decided he wanted to leave or he wanted somebody else, my life didn't change. I told one of my girlfriends, I think it was this baby here, I said, it's amazing how my life has changed drastically, but it ain't changed.
That was a good statement right there. She said, it's amazing how my life has changed drastically, but it ain't changed, because she said she was prepared for it. And that's good stuff. Young women need to hear that. And that conversation emanated from a Facebook post where she talked about being aware of be aware of the representative. And she was writing that post to younger women. So we came on and talked about it. And Danny's an introvert. Danny don't like talking in front of crowds. She could sing like an angel in front of crowds, but she just didn't like talking. But we had a very well thought out conversation, and we talked about it from a single woman's perspective. I approached it from a single male's perspective. Avery was on, and Avery approached it from a married man's perspective. We were able to look at it. So we've added some entertainment this time. So this time we're going to have my brother.
And I don't know what to think. The bartender bring a double shot of the Hennessy. They even know my favorite drink. And they know I got a woman, and we're doing fine. But every time they see us, they can't keep it off their mind. And it's strange when you finally find a girl. That's when everybody wants you back. Nobody told me that when you finally find love, that's when everybody wants you back. I'm not saying I'm a cheat.
Hey, okay, my bad. All right, so we're gonna have Roosevelt. He's gonna sing during intermission, so that's gonna be fun as well. Listen, VIP tickets, we only have about 7 more available. We're almost out of those. And this is the last night to buy your VIP tickets anyway. So if you have not purchased your VIP ticket as of midnight tonight, that number is going to be cut. So it is what it is. We got to prepare for the caterer. We're only like 2.5 weeks away. So we got to give the caterer a head count. So if you know anybody who said that they wanted to come and have not purchased their ticket yet, tell them that James said that that's about over. So we won't be having we won't have it. I'm sorry, I don't have it. So if you've already purchased your ticket, 6 o'clock on that particular night, be there on time, because we will have the VIP reception from 6 o'clock until 6:45. At 7:15, we'll start recording. The doors will open up to the public. General admission tickets are still available. They're going up tomorrow, though. If they want to take advantage of the $15 early bird price, they need to do that by tomorrow, Lakeisha, by tomorrow at 12 o'clock p.m. After that, it goes back up to the $20 price. Okay, that's fair, right? That's fair, right? Because I've had these prices set for the last 3 weeks. VIP and I gave VIP. Those that don't know, VIP includes a VIP reception, an open bar, VIP food. It's going to be a little bit more than just finger foods, and guaranteed seating in the event. So we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a good time, and I appreciate all of my sponsors, because I've had sponsors who have stepped in and really taken the mantle and took away really mostly all of my cost. So I'm appreciative for that. So y'all, we're gonna have fun on that particular day. LaRon McAdoo, he is going to open us up with poetry and all that kind of stuff. But listen, just because you have your tickets, don't stop inviting others. The only difference is right now that we don't have any more room for the VIPs. Okay, so that's the only difference. But we're still selling general admission tickets. So they asked, the price is $20. Now I do have, I think, Lakeisha, help me if I'm wrong, I think I have 2 more VIPs that I can give away. And the reason I'm able to give them away is because I have people who believe in me that don't live in Little Rock, but they'll purchase tickets just to support me. And so when they buy the tickets, they ask me to give them away. I'm going to give these away probably to a couple of brothers. Okay, so I'm going to hold on to these 2 tickets, and I'm going to give those away. But like I said, I still have 5, I think, room for 5 more VIPs, because I was preparing for 30. And I think I got 21, 22 plus the 2 that I need to give away. So I might have 5 or 6 left. So if I get the text, at least Lakeisha, put the Cash App on the screen, please. If you want to Cash App me tonight, $30 for your VIP ticket, all I need you to do is put the Cash App in, which is Cash App the Intellectual Stew. Once you put the Cash App in, then once you send me the $30, then what I need you to do is in the subject line, I need you to put your name and your email address. Your name and your email address. Can y'all see that? Move to the side so you can see it a little bit better. The Intellectual Stew. All right. That's another way it might show a little bit better. Let me put it up here this way. Cash App, the Intellectual Stew. Zelle 678-732-5440. And PayPal is jkirkland2@gmail.com. Whichever way you send in your monies, make sure you put in the subject line your email address and your name, and you will receive a ticket within a matter of minutes. And just hold on to that ticket, and it's a QR code, and when you come on that day, we'll be prepared for you. I'm trying to get the fiance to get a VIP ticket. Let me know. Like I said, I got 5 spots left. So I can make that happen. Okay, get him to come. Just get him to say yes, he wants to come, and we'll make that work. And don't say get the fiance, say get my fiance. Words, young lady, words. I'm playing with you, but I am for real. I'm laughing, but very seriously. All right, so I'm ready, man. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have 3 segments. I got a couple. I got Phoenicia. We're gonna do our portion. And then at the end, we'll have a community conversation. And you never know who I might call on stage that day. I might not pick my panel up front. Yeah, you go. My fiance, he's yours. You tell him to get it by midnight tonight. Just get it for him. Get it in faith. Get it and say, hey, I got us a ticket and we're going here. Now, we respond to that kind of stuff well. We like that. We like assertive women. We do, without telling us what to do, but you make a decision, but say, hey, we're doing this. We like that kind of stuff. Just get it and tell him, hey, we go on May the 4th. I want you to go check this out. And he'll be like, okay, cool. And then when you get in the room and you tell him, Phoenicia, how all those men started talking last time. Next, you know, we had a whole room talking, but I'm going to be able to control the conversation better this time because I'm gonna have more mics. And you and Raquel, before you start talking out loud, walk up to a microphone and start, because Raquel just start asking, I don't need a mic. You do need a mic. I need your mic because we're recording this kind of stuff. Tell Phoenicia, text her $30 for a VIP, $30 for VIP, $30 for VIP, $15 for general admission right now. $15 until 12 o'clock noon tomorrow. VIP is $30 tonight. I got to cut it off because I was supposed to cut it off Friday and I didn't cut it off. And so the caterer is like, all right, James. So I got it. I'm sorry. I wish I could sell them to the day before, but you can't prepare food and all that kind of stuff properly if you don't do that kind of stuff. So we're gonna make it happen. I need some more men too. So y'all let's do it. 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 Have y'all enjoyed the show tonight? I really appreciate you all, man. And I'm optimistic about the growth that's about to take place with our platform. And a lot of that's gonna happen some grown-up conversation, and I will walk away. You hate that you were late? That's okay. You can always watch the replay. But we're gonna be here every night. Now listen, it might be a little difficult for me to come on live this week because I'm gonna be traveling. I'll be in Little Rock tomorrow, and then I'll be heading to Longview, Texas on Wednesday, and then I'll be back in Little Rock Saturday, then back in Atlanta Monday, do my show from here Monday, and then I'll be back in Little Rock Thursday for the event. So I'm looking forward to it, right? I'm looking forward to it. We're gonna have a good time. And every woman in the room is gonna get a rose and I'm talking about flower. I'm talking about a rose flower. Don't get excited. But every woman in the room is gonna get a rose because Tony, the bartender, the certified mixologist, as he calls himself, he loves to make sure that he takes care of the ladies. So y'all will be taken care of. Phoenicia was giving me some really good questions, but those were questions that I kind of wanted. Man, you laughing at me. Those were questions that I wanted to ask Dominic when she was talking about her shacking relationship, as she calls it. You glad I clarified? Yeah, because I think that's something else that deepens the divide. Man, who gonna compete with that? I ain't trying to compete with it. I let you have it. You win. I'm going to bed. All right, so it's been fun, man. What is the time? And man, you on late, bro. We need you on here at 9 o'clock. We just 8 o'clock your time, so you can stand up for the men, bro. But I appreciate you for coming on. But where does the time go, man? 1 hour and 52 minutes. And this is fun. I promise you, I appreciate you. I had some people that were gonna come on the panel tonight, but guess they went to bed. I don't care. I got this. Intellectual stew. All right. So y'all get your tickets. Got to 12 o'clock tonight to get your VIP tickets. Go to my page and you can get it. You can get it. All right, I'm out. I'm trying to think of anything. Have I left anything out? Keisha, have I left anything out? Let me look down here on the side. I ain't even played none of my funny videos tonight. Like the girl, the fat girl with the powdered donuts on her face. But it's all good. I'm out. All right. As I always say when I get ready to leave, the world is changing. My question for you is why? Please tell me why. Why do you remain the same? Y'all have a good night, and I'll see you next week.
Hey, let's change the world together. Get your The World is Changing tea at www.theintellectualstew.com.
Listen, friends, I was stuck in a state of stagnation. I was depressed after a divorce. I was marinating in my misery, didn't want to do anything, didn't want to work, didn't want to go anywhere. I just wanted to stay where I was. But then all of a sudden I had an epiphany and I realized that where I was not where I was supposed to be. So I made an adjustment. And you know what I did? I got on the path to better. You know why? Because I realized that better existed. And you know what I want to do? I want to invite you to join me
On the Path to Better. Get your On the Path to Better t-shirt at www.theintellectualstew.com. Will you join me on the path to better?
Church is not a date night.
Church what?
Church is not a date night.
Raquel, what's the question?
It's two-part. We're going to roll around a little bit.
Come on.
We're going to go back to, how long should he suffer? When it comes down to, when it comes down to suffering, I believe the two of them have reached a place to where nobody's suffering. I think they have traveled a journey together through life, through the ups and downs of learning and growing and dealing with each other through our flaws. And that's the part that, as humans, we won't allow each other. We won't acknowledge what our shortcomings are.
And I don't know what to think. The bartender bring a double shot of the Hennessy. They even know my favorite drink. And they know I got a woman, and we're doing fine. But every time they see us, they can't keep me off their mind. And it's strange when you finally find a girl. That's when everybody wants you back. Nobody told me that when you finally find love, that's when everybody wants you back. I'm not saying I'm a cheat,